Hello everyone and welcome back to Sustainable Farming. I am your host Mercy Bangbala. And today we have with us Dr. Erdinch Gunesh, who is the Deputy Director General at the General Directorate of Fisheries and Aquaculture of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry. You're welcome, Doctor, to our show today. First of all, for our viewers who would like to know, what are the main responsibilities of the General Directorate of Fisheries and Aquaculture? And could you briefly share with us where 2K stands today in fisheries and the aquaculture production?
Thank you. Let me begin by outlining our fundamental responsibility. As the General Directorate of Fisheries and Aquaculture under the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, our main responsibility is to protect our aquatic resources and ensure sustainable fisheries and aquaculture in our seas and inland waters. We achieve this through a system that sets and implements the rules, carries out planning and management, and ensures compliance through effective monitoring and inspections on the ground. This system is backed by strong data information infrastructure, and we work in line with international standards. Turkey also has a unique natural advantage. It is surrounded by our 4 seas. Each has its own ecosystem, and together they create a rich marine environment with high biodiversity. The same is true for our rivers and lakes, including unique freshwater species native to Turkey. Today, Turkey is one of the leading countries in the region in fisheries and aquaculture. As of 2025, our total fisheries and aquaculture production is over 1 million tons, and our seafood exports have exceeded 2.2 billion US dollars. The Turkish fish and fishery products now reach consumers in nearly 100 countries, from Europe to Japan and from the United States to Russia. So, in brief, Turkey is not only a strong producer, but also a country committed to sustainable science-based management in fisheries and aquaculture.
Now, how do you position your cooperation with African countries? And could you share us some of the work and, information on the work that you have carried out in the African continent?
First of all, we do not see our cooperation with African countries as only a fisheries activity. We see it as a long-term partnership built around food security, sustainable development, and the blue economy. Africa has very important potential in fisheries and aquaculture, with natural conditions that differ from country to country and strong room for growth. And using this potential in the right and sustainable way is very important for the progress and the prosperity of African countries. With this understanding, and in line with the Africa vision of our President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, we are working to strengthen our relations on an institutional and sustainable basis. So far, we have signed cooperation agreement in fisheries and aquaculture with 10 African countries, and our negotiations with some other countries are still ongoing. Our goal is not only simply to sign agreement. Our main goal is to support these agreements with regular, practical, and measurable implementation mechanisms that deliver concrete results in the field. For this purpose, we hold technical committee meeting with our counterparts. We review the process together, and we deepen our cooperation through mutual visits. In this regard, our recent cooperation with Somalia is a particularly important example. The meetings between our Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Mr. Ibrahim Yumaklı, and Somalia's Minister of Fisheries and Blue Economy, Mr. Ahmed Hassan Aden, opened the door to a new phase in our relations. Following an initiative by our minister, a technical committee was established and it held its first meeting in Turkey. Through this process, a regular and sustainable cooperation mechanisms was put in place in areas such as fisheries management, licensing, inspection, and institutional capacity development. In addition, under the Strategic Cooperation and Service Agreement signed between OYAK, a Turkish institution, and the Somalia Minister, the Somtürk company was established in Somalia in December 2025. Somtürk will provide technical and administrative support to Somalia Ministry in licensing process related to fishing activities in the exclusive economic zone of Somalia. At the same time, the agreement is expected to strengthen economic and technical ties, support the development of fish processing and related sectors, increase local employment, and contribute to welfare of the Somalia people. We have also made important progress in West Africa. In April last year, a delegation by our Deputy Minister, Mr. Ebu Bekir Gizligider, visited Mauritania and Senegal, marking a new step in our cooperation. In Mauritania, where many Turkish fishing vessels operate, we hold working meetings covering licensing, quota implementation, monitoring and control systems, and port infrastructure with a clear focus on transparency, sustainability, and mutual benefit. We also reviewed the operational conditions of our vessels on the ground and directly discussed the key administrative and technical issues with the relevant authorities. And in Senegal, our meeting created momentum for expanding cooperation in fisheries management, fish processing, and technical capacity development. So, as I underlined earlier, our partnership with African countries is not just about fishing. It is about sustainability, building a capacity, creating local jobs, and managing resources responsibly for mutual benefit.
Absolutely. So let's talk about capacity building and training. What are you doing in terms of this part of, aquaculture? Let's talk about the recently concluded aquaculture training program you carried out recently. Who participated? What was included in the program?
Training and capacity building are key part of our cooperation approach. Sometimes we host the programs in Turkey and sometimes we deliver training in a partner country. For example, in January, we provided experts from the Gambia with training on fisheries and aquaculture statistics and data collection. And in early February, under the coordination of our ministry and in cooperation with Japan International Cooperation Agency and Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, we organized a training program titled Development of Sustainable Aquaculture. We hosted 12 participants from Somalia, Mauritania, Senegal, Libya, Sierra Leone, and our neighbor Syria. Over 10 days in Antalya, Muğla, and Istanbul, the program combined classroom sessions with hands-on work in the field. Participants visited aquaculture facilities, carried out field activities, and conducted practical studies in laboratories covering the full production cycle. The goal was clear: to strengthen technical capacity, support realistic national planning, and encourage solutions tailored to each country's own conditions. Participants also presented the situation and needs in their own countries, so it became a platform for mutual learning and shared perspective. We also included cultural activities because cooperation is not only technical, it is also about building trust and stronger ties. The feedback was really very positive, and we see this not as a 10-day event, but as a long-term investment in partnership and capacity building. Turkey will continue to share knowledge and the field experience in both fisheries and aquaculture with all friendly countries that need such support.
Definitely. And why is fisheries and aquaculture so important for Africa specifically? And could you explain to us with examples, with concrete examples, how the ministry, your private sector, and institutions are contributing in the field?
We see fisheries and aquaculture as very important for the development of African countries because of the strong potential they have. And where there is cooperation, our private sector contributes through investment, technology, and know-how in line with the local priorities. So, what does this mean on the ground? It means on the ground, we focus on two things: compliance and local value creation. In African countries where Turkish fishing vessels operate, they fully comply with national laws and regulations. And alongside fishing activities, we support local value creation, including processing and related activities. For example, in Mauritania, fishing operations together with a local fish processing facility continue to contribute to employment and local development. More broadly, Turkey's contribution can be seen across a wide range, from a fishing line used by a fisherman in South Sudan to fishing net used in Niger, to a boat workshop in Djibouti, and even to a fish farm in Marwa in the far north region of Cameroon. In South Sudan, for instance, direct support provided to 125 fishing families. Equipment was supplied and workshops were organized to support better fisheries practices. And in Djibouti, where the limited fleet made it difficult to go beyond the coastal waters, or a boat production workshop established by TICA enabled fiberglass fishing boats to be produced locally for the first time. Furthermore, the existing workshop was also modernized. We can certainly multiply these examples, and I would like to thank TICA in particular for its key role in turning cooperation into tangible results in the field.
And in all of this, what is the role of the media? For example, how do you see the contribution of Afroturkagrotv?
The success of our initiative in Africa is not only about what we do in the field. It also depends on how these efforts are communicated. Because for a long-term and sustainably partnership, it is very important to strengthen the connection between our peoples, to develop cultural ties, and to help societies know each other better. And at this point, media is one of the most effective tools. We see Afroturkagrotv as playing a very valuable role here. On the one hand, you are Turkey's voice in Africa. On the other hand, you are Africa's voice in Turkey. In this way, you build a strong bridge between the two sides. We thank you for these valuable contributions.
And finally, what message would you give to, partners and investors in Africa? What would you say to them for the period ahead?
My final message is that we see our cooperation with African countries in fisheries and aquaculture as a long-term partnership platform that creates mutual benefit. In the coming period, by building on and strengthening our existing cooperation, we will continue with determination to develop our partnership with African countries on the basis of trust, fairness, and transparency. Going forward, Turkey will remain a reliable partner for sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, turning cooperation into tangible results on the ground.
Absolutely. Dr. Erdinç Güneş, thank you so much for sharing your time and your knowledge with us.
Thank you very much.